Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me again on our stretch break today. We got about 15 minutes. We're going to focus a lot on our back and a little bit of hips and legs today. Yesterday was a lot of upper body, so today I want to do a little bit more lower body. So find yourself a little bit of space. You don't need a ton of room, just enough to kind of stretch your arms out and be able to bend forward. And let's get started. So our first stretch today, just like always, we're starting with the same four. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to reach up towards the ceiling, getting nice and tall. If your shoulders don't like to do this, you can bring them down and grasp your elbows, or you can put your arms behind your back. That didn't take long for the dog cameo. He woke up. But find that position where you can really lengthen your spine so it feels like the crown of your head is dangling from a string hanging from the ceiling. We'll take a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to come down just halfway. Keeping that back nice and flat. If you need to have a little bend in the knees, that's totally fine. But keep staying here allows you to feel a little bit of that stretch in your low back, a little bit in the hamstrings, and you're going to press your chest towards the floor or towards your knees without losing that straight back. So we don't want to just round forward. We want to keep that straight back and lower from there. And when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and just bring it straight down to the floor. And now you can go ahead and relax and let that just everything collapse forward so the crown of your head is pointed towards the floor or towards the dog, whichever is right there for you. Again, we're trying to keep our legs as straight as we can. If you want to grasp the back of your calves, your ankles, your shoelaces, your toes, the floor, whatever feels best for you. And the straighter your legs are, the more you're going to feel that in your hamstrings. We're going to take a nice few deep breaths here. And before we come up, I want you to think about using your glutes, just like if you've ever done a deadlift. You're going to squeeze your glutes and you're going to slowly pull yourself up one vertebrae at a time. When we stand back up, our shoulders might be up towards our ears, so we want to push them back to the wall behind us and then down, like we're tucking our shoulder blades into our back pockets. And this is our neutral position. This is how we should be standing, we should be walking, we should be sitting with those shoulders down and back. So let's go through that one more time. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in. And as we exhale, reaching up towards the ceiling, you want to add a little bit of a back bend here. You can reach back, let your head fall. You can use your arms on your low back to support you. Whichever feels best for you. If you wanted to stay up here or here, whatever works for you. My shoulders are feeling a little tight today, so right now, this feels the best, just getting my shoulders straight up. And we'll take a nice deep breath in, exhale, and just come down halfway again. Looking at the floor right in front of you, keeping that back nice and flat. You should be able to balance a glass of water on your back. And maybe if you're a little bit more warmed up now, maybe you can press that chest down a little bit closer to your knees, a little bit closer to the floor while still maintaining that nice flat back. Hands are just above the knees or below. And from there, we're going to go ahead and just let it all collapse forward. Maybe you can reach a little bit further this time. So maybe if you were reaching your ankles last time, now you can go for the shoelaces or the toes. If you were at the toes, maybe you can go for the floor. If you're already at the floor, maybe you can get more of your hand on the floor. And again, keeping those legs as straight as we can. We don't need to lock them out. They can have a softness to them. But the straighter they are, the more you're going to feel this all up and down the back of your leg. When you're ready, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. We're going to exhale, squeeze those glutes, slowly pull ourselves up one vertebrae at a time. Get those shoulders back and down. Perfect. So from here, we're going to go into a quad stretch. So if you need to hold on to something, the wall, the desk, whatever you have near you to balance, that's fine. We're going to grab one foot. And when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we keep our knees together. It's really easy to just let that leg fall out to the side like I'm doing right now. But once you pull it in, you're going to start feeling that stretch way more down the middle of your quad, and it feels a lot better. And if you want to take it a little bit further, you can bring that leg straight back behind you. But again, my knees are still in line, so I kept my knee close together. I just pulled straight back. That's going to get more of your hip flexor, which is right here in the front of your hip, which ends up getting really shortened from sitting and being in that seated position for so long. So we're just trying to pull ourselves out of that a little bit, lengthen this muscle. And we're trying to breathe through this nice and easy. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and switch sides. We're gonna do the exact same thing. So grab that foot, bring that knee close together. If you're feeling this in the front of your hip right here, great, stay there. If you want to feel a little bit more, that's when you're going to pull back. If you're unable to grab your foot to bring it up to that point, my chair is far away right now, but if this was my chair, you can put your foot on the seat of the chair and just press your hips forward, like you're showing off a belt buckle, and you're going to get a similar stretch. So again, we're still on the second leg. I really like to feel that hip, that stretch in the hip flexor. So I like to pull back and make sure you're grabbing the middle of your foot and not your toes. So we're not putting extra stress on our knee. You can even grab your ankle. And what your other leg is doing right now doesn't really matter as long as it's supporting you. And we'll go ahead and let that down. The next stretch we're going to do is for our lats, which are the huge muscles that come up our backs. So we're going to start by doing both arms first, and then I'm going to show you some progressions if you want to take it a little bit further. So just find something. You can use the wall, you can use your desk. If you're using a wall, just make sure your hands are already down and then come down to meet them. I'm going to use this because I feel like it's a little bit easier if you're able to keep your palms flat. So my hands are just a normal width apart, and I'm going to press my hips back like I'm trying to booty bump. You know, when you have your arms full of grocery bags and you're trying to close your car door, that's what we're doing, pushing those hips back. Those arms are coming out straight in front of us, and let your head come down, looking at the floor so that your ears are covered by each of your arms. If your arms don't move in this direction, that's okay. Find the position that works best for you. If that's more upright, and just keep working your way until you find a sticking point, that's totally fine. But if you can, get that back nice and flat so we're pressing our chest towards the floor. Our ears are in between our arms. We're pushing our booty back. And you should be feeling this stretch all through the ribs, into the back. And from here, if you want to take it a little bit further, you can take one arm off and reach underneath. And you can bend your knee so that you have a little bit more room and reach underneath, and you're gonna feel this get even a longer, stretching a little further. So find the position that works for you. And maybe you just do it for a few seconds just to get nice and long. Again, letting this knee bend so that I have the hip mobility to twist my hips to reach that arm underneath even further. And it really lengthens your side. So if you've done that, go ahead and come back to the center. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay in this position, but this time we're gonna pedal our legs. And what I want you to do is try to get that leg straight, one at a time, not both. And once you get it straight, you're gonna feel a stretch in your calf, maybe a little bit into your hamstring, as long as we're still pushing that chest forward. And we're just gonna alternate legs, pedaling our legs back and forth, feeling that stretch in the calf, while also feeling that stretch in our lats. It's like a 2-for-1 special. Go at your own pace. You know, find what feels good. If one of your calves is really tight and it feels good to just hold it, then just hold it. If it's so tight that it hurts, ease up and switch legs. You really have to think about pushing yourself towards the ground, or you're not going to feel anything in your calf. So if you're just pedaling your legs back and forth, you don't feel anything. Get into one and try to press that chest down a little bit more. And when you're ready, we're going to carefully come out of this using our glutes to pull ourselves up, standing up nice and tall. And let's go through these. We'll go a little bit quicker this time, starting with the quads. So again, finding something to balance, grabbing the middle of our foot or our ankle, keeping those knees together. And if you want to pull back a little bit, maybe now you can go a little bit further now that you're a little bit more warm, a little more limber. We'll take a nice deep breath in. And we will switch sides. When it comes to stretching, there's really no amount that's too long. There can be diminishing effects if you hold it for a minute. It's no better than holding it for 30 seconds. But if you feel good there and you want to stay there, it's not hurting you. It's not doing anything bad. But holding a stretch for at least 20 seconds, preferably 30, physiologically allows your body to really absorb the benefits of the stretch. So our first round through, I like to talk through, make sure we're getting through it and knowing that if we're holding them a little bit longer, it's totally okay. Now I'm going to keep them down to about 20 seconds. So we got our quads and our hip flexors. So let's get back into this lat stretch. So again, we're going to start with both of our hands on, just so we can get into the proper position. Pushing that booty straight back, letting the head fall so that your ears are between your arms. From there, we're pressing our chest towards the ground so our back's nice and flat. Maybe now you can press a little bit further. If you want to stay here, that's great. Go ahead and start pedaling your legs so you get that calf stretch. And again, you may find yourself lifting as you're pedaling your leg. So once you pedal that leg, try to press a little bit lower again until you feel that stretch in your calf. And if you want to take it further, we're going to go ahead and reach. You cannot pedal your legs while you're doing this because you do need one knee bent so that you can twist your hips to reach a little bit further and just feel like you're getting so long, all up and down here. Pressing those hips back, reaching this arm through. And you can switch sides when you're ready. Still pressing that chest towards the ground. If you want, you can come back to middle, start pedaling those legs again. And we're just going to finish off by rounding through that first series. So from here, You can go ahead and just let it come all the way down to the ground. One more time, just stretching that back out, letting that spine lengthen so the crown of our head is reaching towards the floor, reaching the floor, toes, shoelaces, ankles. You can pull yourself closer. And then we're going to use our glutes, squeezing, slowly rounding up. Get those shoulders back and touch back down. Hopefully you enjoyed these 15 minutes. Hopefully you feel a little bit looser, a little bit warmer. I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning. So my name is Andi. I am from the Tempe site. I will be back with you at 12 o'clock next Wednesday live, but these are all recorded and they're available on our YouTube channel for you to access anytime you need a little stretch. If you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations or requests, please email your local team and let them know, and we'll be sure to include them in the next video. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.